In 2003, one of America's largest healthcare companies was exposed for faking billions in profits. Not thousands, not millions, billions. At a time when corporate fraud was dominating headlines, from Enron to WorldCom, another scandal quietly revealed just how deep the deception could go. This time, inside the healthcare system, this is the story of HealthSouth and the man at the center of it all. HealthSouth Corporation was founded in the 1980s by Richard Scrushy. It started as a small rehabilitation services company. But Scrushy had a vision. He wanted to build a nationwide healthcare empire, a company that would dominate outpatient surgery, rehabilitation centers, and hospital services across the United States. And for a while, he succeeded. By the late 1990s, HealthSouth had grown into one of the largest healthcare providers in America. The company operated hundreds of facilities, generated billions in revenue, and became a Wall Street favorite. Investors loved the story. A fast-growing healthcare company, consistent profits, strong expansion. Everything looked perfect, and at the center of it all was Scrushy, confident, charismatic, powerful, but behind the success, there was pressure. Relentless pressure to meet earnings expectations, to keep showing growth, to never disappoint investors. Because on Wall Street, missing expectations can be more dangerous than losing money. Soon, small cracks began to appear. HealthSouth's numbers looked too consistent, too smooth. Quarter after quarter, profits kept meeting expectations almost perfectly. Some analysts began to question it. Was the growth real? Or was something being hidden inside the company? The truth was already known. Executives were manipulating the numbers, altering financial statements, and inflating earnings to meet targets. What started as small adjustments quickly turned into something much bigger. The scheme was simple but powerful. If actual earnings fell short, they would just change the numbers, add fake entries, increase revenue, reduce expenses on paper, and report profits that didn't exist. Over time, the gap between reality and reported earnings grew until it reached an astonishing figure, $2.7 billion. The fraud continued for years, and it wasn't done by one person alone. Multiple executives were involved. In fact, 5 CFOs eventually pleaded guilty to their roles in the scheme. That alone revealed how deeply the fraud was embedded inside the company. Some later admitted that the adjustments became routine, almost normalized. What once felt illegal eventually felt like part of the job, but like every large deception, it couldn't stay hidden forever. In 2003, regulators began investigating. The Securities and Exchange Commission stepped in. Authorities started examining HealthSouth's financial statements, and insiders began to cooperate. What they uncovered shocked the financial world. A systematic accounting fraud, one of the largest in healthcare history. The market reacted immediately. HealthSouth stock collapsed. Investors lost billions. Confidence vanished overnight. A company once seen as a healthcare giant was now at the center of a massive scandal. Hospitals, patients, and employees were suddenly caught in uncertainty. Because this wasn't just a tech company or a bank, this was healthcare. Real people, real services, and real consequences. Richard Scrushy was charged with multiple counts of fraud, accused of orchestrating the entire scheme. The case became one of the most closely watched corporate trials in the United States. But what happened next surprised everyone. Despite the scale of the fraud, Scrushy was acquitted of criminal charges in 2005. He walked free, even though multiple executives had already admitted their involvement, even though billions in fake earnings had been reported. The verdict left many questioning the system itself. But his story didn't end there. Scrushy was removed from his position. His reputation was damaged, and he later faced other legal troubles unrelated to HealthSouth. The empire he built was no longer his. HealthSouth itself didn't disappear. The company restructured, changed leadership, strengthened internal controls, and eventually rebranded as Encompass Health. It survived, But the scandal left a permanent mark. The case exposed something deeper. A system where pressure to meet expectations can override ethics, where executives feel forced to deliver numbers, no matter the reality, and where internal controls fail. When too many people are involved in maintaining the illusion, it also showed how fraud doesn't always start big. Sometimes it begins with a small adjustment, a temporary fix, a number changed just once, but over time, those small decisions grow into something uncontrollable. So what do you think? Was Richard Scrushy the mastermind behind $1 billion fraud? Or a CEO who lost control of a system built on pressure and deception? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Because in the world of corporate finance, numbers are more than just data. They are trust, they are reputation, they are power. And when those numbers are manipulated, the consequences don't just affect companies, they affect millions of lives, because sometimes the biggest lies in business aren't hidden in complex systems. They're written clearly on financial statements that everyone trusted. For more such knowledge, subscribe and hit the bell icon.